Hey guys, so today we're going to be looking at using speakers to actually cancel out sound. And so before we dive too deep into this, let's pop down onto the table here and I'll kind of go through what we've got going on as far as waveforms and that sort of stuff and what we're trying to accomplish. All right guys, so here we are, we're looking at this is just a sine wave, and this is actually very similar to what's going to be produced by these speakers. So if you imagine coming out of these speakers is a wave, and so as the speakers bounce back and forth, they create this wave. Now, the tone that we're going to be using in today's demonstration is a 1 kilohertz frequency. And so when you do the math, because of the time that it takes for sound to travel through air, the wavelength, or the time from this peak to this peak, is 34.3 centimeters, right? And so what we're trying to do today is we're actually going to try to cancel out that sound using the second speaker. So what we're going to do is we're going to take that 34.3 centimeters that's from here to here, and we're going to divide that by 2. And so we end up with 17.15 centimeters. So when we bring this speaker here up to 17.15 centimeters, essentially what's going to happen is this wave is going to cancel out the other wave. And so as you can see, the area from the axis basically, so from the area from here, or from here down to here, will equal the area from here to here. And when both areas are identical, that's when we theoretically should completely cancel out the sound that's being emitted from the speaker that doesn't move. So what's really cool about this is you can kind of imagine, so as we're scooting the speaker forward, you can see this area here is going to kind of cancel out this area here. So it'll slowly dim the speaker down. It's not going to be all at once. So you can see that our area, our uncanceled out area here is going to be right in here. And as we continue to move forward, that area gets smaller and smaller and smaller until finally we get, exactly 180 degrees out of phase. And that's when the two sound waves should cancel each other out. Now, I keep saying should because in the room here, we have a lot of hard surfaces, like the table and the wall, and that will cause the sound waves to bounce off things. So we won't get 100% cancellation. Theoretically, if you had a room that absorbed all the sound that was being emitted by both speakers and there was no refractions, we would completely cancel the waves out. And that's actually why I have made these boxes here, and these boxes are full of cotton balls. And that was because when I originally did the experiment, I tried just moving the speakers forward, and I found that the sound waves that were bouncing off the wall behind the speakers would come back and hit the microphone, and then the wave didn't cancel each other out like it was supposed to. So that concludes kind of the theory behind what's going on. Let's pop over and actually do the demonstration. All right, guys, so now that we've gone through kind of what's going on as far as the waveforms with the speakers and stuff, let's go through our experiment setup here. So first off, we have my laptop here, and this is what's actually going to be generating our waveform. All I'm doing is I have the headphone jack of the laptop plugged into an amplifier that's down underneath the table. From there, the amplifier just comes up into this switch right here. From the switch, the signal splits in two and goes into both of our speakers. So then to record our waveforms and everything, I have my oscilloscope here, and now I'll bring up the screen capture of the oscilloscope. So on the oscilloscope, you'll see that there is a purple line at the bottom, and there is a yellow line that's fluctuating all around that's up above it. So the purple line is directly hooked into the amplifier. And so the purple line is the 1 kilohertz sine wave. And actually, if you look up in the upper right-hand corner of the oscilloscope, you'll see it says 1 kilohertz. And so then the yellow line is actually hooked into, this is the receiver for my wireless mic right here, And one of the outputs is going to the yellow oscilloscope lead, and that's why anytime that I speak, the yellow line bounces all over the place. Okay, so now let's dive in. I've got my microphone now hooked onto the little antenna here, and in a moment here when I flip the switch on, you should see the yellow waveform that's on the oscilloscope look pretty close to, if not almost identical to, the purple waveform. And so keep in mind the purple waveform is what's coming out of the amplifier, and the yellow waveform actually has to go through quite a bit of processing. So the microphone has to take care of, has to, receive it, and it has to go through here and into the receiver and then back over into the oscilloscope. So there's quite a bit going on there. So if they don't look identical, well, that's why. So, all right, let's do this. All right, and that was that. As you guys could see, we never did quite completely cancel out the entire waveform. And that just has to do with, there's reflections bouncing off the walls. There is, the speakers themselves might not be emitting the waves at the exact same time. So there's quite a bit of variables that go into this. But we definitely, you could see, silence that waveform down quite a bit. And I hope that came through on the microphone as well as it did, here, because in person, I gotta say, it's the craziest thing, because it goes from this kind of obnoxious, just, loud hum to all of a sudden quieter, 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 really, really neat. So anyways, thanks guys, and I'll see you later.